Okay, we've got a big slab of meat. This is about 3 kilos. And for this exercise, we're going to do about, aim for about half of this one. Normally I do about 2 kilos, but we'll do about 1.5 just because of the size of the joint. So we've got something that's going to be able to hang from our biltong dryer. So about a good, decent log length of steak. I'm going to cut the string off these. Make sure to remove all the string. And then we're going to look for the grain of the meat. So it's going that way, going long. So we're then going to cut steaks out of this. Less than an inch. You could get a butcher to do this, but it's less fun. Okay, now we have our steaks. A little bit of fat inside is okay for some, depends how lean you like it, but a little bit of fat can be pretty tasty. And I usually try and get a mix, so some fatty, some not so fatty. So we got our steaks, and next we're going to do the salting. Here we're going to have 2 different kinds of salt. You have rock salt and just regular salt, fine salt. And what we're going to do, we're going to get ourselves a bowl. Something like this. And we're going to just give each of these a very light salting, just a sprinkle. I'll move this over the camera a bit. Light sprinkle, just like you're seasoning a steak lightly. And we're going to do each of these. That's what I think of the seasoning aspect of it. Now we're going to go for the bacteria avoidance part. So we got our steak, we're going to put it in our tray, and we're going to sprinkle so we get a decent covering. Press in, flip it. We are going to wash this off later, so don't panic. And so get a covering, something like that. And then repeat for the rest of the steaks. Okay, so you see the varied size there. As long as the biggest one will still fit in the box, it really doesn't matter than that. Smaller ones will dry quicker. Really, to be honest, it's more the thicker ones will dry slower in a sense. The longer ones will take just as much as the shorter ones. So. And we do that. We're going to cover that up. We put that into the fridge for 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, so next we're going to make our spice mix. And that's going to consist of large bags of coriander seeds. Might be called cilantro seeds, but I think it's coriander here. And black peppercorns, or sure other kinds of peppercorns too. Worcester sauce. And I use some garlic paste, but there's other kinds of any kind of garlic or garlic and oil, or probably chopped up fresh garlic and mixed in with oil. All would do. This is just what it was around and it's easy. I'm going to make enough that would cover just about 2 kilos. I know we've got 1.5, but we'll stick with the easy measurements. And I have a spice grinder here. Using a simple one, Amazon, not too expensive, or you can use a mortar and pestle. So we're going to start, and we have a bowl to collect our spices in. So put the Worcester and the garlic to one side now. And you're going to get a cupful, 1 cup. Not an exact science here, just pretty much rough. We're trying to get 1 cup, and we're going to go to about just under a 1/4 cup of peppercorns. We're looking for about 80% to 20% ratio. So, and that will be as done with both of those. We're going to grind these up. I'm going to do this over the sink. So, got some of them here, do them in a couple of batches. So, we're going to give that kind of mixed consistency. Want some whole seeds and some quite finely ground in there. But as you can hear, it doesn't take too long, and we're gonna pour that in there. The mixture fine and coarse. Do the same for the rest here. Then we're going to do peppercorns. Doing those a little bit longer because they are harder. And again, mixture, some whole, finely ground. And that is your foundation of your mix. You don't actually need the other items. I just think they're better with those. I'm going to give those a mix through. And then we can put our grinder away. And then we get our conveyor belt set up. We get our meat from our fridge. That's going to set at one end. And you should see some of the, it'll start to dry already. You'll see the meat settling with the blood coming out, and you should see meat starting to tighten up and dry with the salt. And we're just going to pour off the excess, just so we make less of a mess. And we're going to get a roll of bowls. This is just my preferred approach. So we're going to have meat to start with, then we're going to rinse the meat with vinegar into this bowl, and then we're going to pour over the spice mix in this bowl, and then have them ready to go in the final bowl. And so we're going to get started. We have to get vinegar. Now here's malt vinegar, and you can see this has a little bit of a squirt gun almost to spray the vinegar on, and that's actually a very useful thing to have. You can either make your own, or this one happened to reuse this one that I found, and pour the vinegar into it. And what we want to do is, I don't know why I put the top back on, is take our meat and salt on it. I'm going to start washing the salt off with the vinegar. Notice I'm not laying it flat in there, I'm trying to wash it off. And I'm going to rub to try and get any excess off. It doesn't have to be exact, but it can be too salty if you don't give it a good coating. And you can see that's kind of almost slightly drying from the salt already. It should seem like it's getting a little bit tougher. And I'm going to put this in the end just now, and then we're going to do the next one. I think I had about a third of that bottle there when it got used. And there we go. And that's our meat prepped, so we can get our salty bowls and vinegar bowls away. And we're going to start bringing back over here, and we're going to do the Worcester sauce with a splash each side. Don't have to be too precise. If you want garlic or garlic oil, whatever you want to put on there, just like a little bit to give it. Just rub it over. Now this is where lots of people can get adventurous. You can try all sorts of spices and flavourings, but these are the ones I keep coming back to. And then we're going to spread over the spices all over the meat. Pat it down. That's our first piece done. And that that is the foundation of biltong. What remains is we'll cut a little hole in each of them, we'll put in the ties or S-hooks and hang them up to dry for 3 or 4 days. Before we do that, we put these in, cover them, cling film, put them in the fridge for about 4 hours or overnight. And then we not too close. So we have our meat from the fridge. I'm going to get a knife.
I could still be a movie director. I've been watching Saturday Kitchen.
You know this is in the recording. I'll cut out and fast forward those bits. So you're going to create a small hole near the top of each of the steaks. I'm going to put a cable tie ready to each of these. Could use an S-hook, stainless steel though, not just steel. Now we're ready for drying. Get them hung up. And the key thing here is you don't want any of them to be touching. Make sure there's space between all of them. That should be good. We'll leave that for 3 to 4 days, and that's how you make biltong.